Alrighty guys, we have finally done it. We have arrived at the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Hope you guys are all having a great day. If you guys would, please give this video a thumbs up if you guys do really enjoy it. Subscribe, of course, if you guys have not already. Also doing the biggest favor of all, make sure you guys hit the bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on the channel. And as always, if you guys have any movies, TV shows, or games you guys would like me to cover here on the channel, please let me know in the comments down below. And as always, we're going to talk positives and negatives about this movie. This film came out in 2014. It is rated PG-13. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes long. And it is the epic conclusion to the Hunger Games that ends with Katniss finally finding peace along with Panem. So after I've completed this review, I will have covered all of the Hunger Games movies. So I've already done a review for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the original Hunger Games from 2012, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay Part 1. If you guys have missed out on any of those videos, I do have a Hunger Games collection playlist here on the channel, and you guys can check out those videos there. So, a lot of big and important events transpire in this film to make this movie an epic conclusion. Obviously, like I said in Mockingjay Part 1, there are certain things that could have been cut out or just trimmed down to make the runtime feel a lot better. And I will still stand by the fact that I think Mockingjay should have just been a 3-hour movie. It should not have to have been a 4-hour and 15-minute movie. There's just so much that could have been cut out or rewritten or retooled to fit a more coherent and tighter narrative, in my opinion. But big and important things that happen in this film is the fact that the rebellion does end up winning. They do end up defeating the Capitol. They defeat President Snow. And instead of Katniss killing Snow, she ends up killing the upcoming president, President Coin, who is the leader of the rebellion in District 13. And the reason Katniss, a lot of people don't understand why, but Katniss kills Coin because she ends up realizing the facade that Coin is producing, and that Coin would just become another evil tyrant, another evil leader, another dictator. And she didn't want to see basically a female President Snow in charge of Panem and lead Panem through another 75 years, another, whatever, how many years, through more Hunger Games, more brutality. And instead of actually fixing the problems that President Snow has been in charge of, she would just continue his legacy, basically, and she would just be a new political figurehead. But nothing would have changed. Coin would just be the new president, and nothing really would have mattered of what the rebellion did against the Capitol. So she executes Coin, which of course leads to a bunch of other things that transpire. And Snow does die. She ends up getting executed by a mob, and Peeta and Katniss because of what they have done to Coin. Basically, they're banned from the Capitol, and they're no longer part of the inner circle of the head of state, as it would be. So, because Katniss ends up killing Coin, this leads to Commander Paler becoming the new president, and him realizing why Katniss did what she did. He ends up abolishing the Hunger Games, and he turns Panem from being a dictatorship into a constitutional republic with elections and voting system, very similar to how the United States of America operates as a republic-free world. That is what the new president ends up doing, and it is very interesting to see that. And, the fact that the book and movie takes place during the quote-unquote 76 Hunger Games is very similar to the fact that that's kind of when, in 1776, America declared its independence from Britain. So there are a lot of historical references and similarities in this movie because of that. And then lastly, I want to talk about the fact that there's this moment that happens in the movie, and it's very interesting. If you go back and you watch and read interviews, this scene was heavily edited because this one scene in particular where Gal's bombs went off and unfortunately kills Prim, aka Katniss's younger sister, was truly terrifying. It was a truly shocking and sad moment that happens in the movie. And they had to edit it a certain way so they could get the rating dropped from R to PG-13 because of it being such a traumatic event. And I think it's kind of interesting that this one scene, it caused a lot of controversy when this film came out, and it was just like, the horror of war. And I'm like, yeah, that is just how it happens. That is, unfortunately, war, and things do happen that we don't always like and agree with when it comes to these certain things. And I think it is kind of a silly thing that happens in the book and in the movie that because of this, Katniss just drops all of her love feelings and interest towards Gal and puts all of her attention towards Peeta. So I think it's kind of just weird that Katniss went with Peeta when he really hasn't done anything of all that grand of importance in the films at all. He really doesn't. Peeta really kind of was just a lame choice, in my opinion, when it comes to Katniss falling in love with and marrying and having children with. I still hate that ending. I just like, Cal, okay, the guy did one bad thing. He ended up killing your sister. It wasn't meant to be that way. He didn't intentionally do it, but that's just, it was a war zone, so, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't like the ending in that capacity. But overall, I think The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 is a very grim, it's an exciting, and overall I thought it was a very satisfying conclusion to the Hunger Games plot, to the characters, to the world, to the lore. And I pray that they will stop with these prequels. I pray that they'll stop trying to launch a sequel. We don't need it. Just let the franchise rest. That's one of the biggest problems I have with the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is basically they were trying to resurrect a franchise that has been done and over with for nearly a decade. Same thing with what they're trying to do with Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. It's just like, let a franchise be alone. Let it just be in its glory state as it is and quit trying to add so much other stuff to it. So with it, I'm going to give the movie a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.